This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Chelsea. Chelsea is a champion surfer, so she's accustomed to moving super fast, which is why she relies on super fast broadband brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her family sharing and surfing and saving each month. Combined, she bundles her Flow mobile, home phone, and TV services, so she can enjoy much more for much less, and so can you. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today afternoon news update for Tuesday, May 3rd. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Students across the island are currently sitting the Barbados Secondary School's entrance examination. They assembled outside school gates from as early as 7 o'clock this morning before making their way inside the classrooms for the 9 o'clock scheduled start. 3,525 students are registered to sit the exam. Some said they were ready to begin, while others admitted to being nervous. Barbados Today spoke with some of the students and their parents about the big day.
I'm feeling nervous and I feel it's going to be a bit challenging for everybody, so I wish everyone good luck.
Okay, so what about you? What did you do to prepare yourself?
I revised with my mother, and for the next time I have to go to sleep about 7 o'clock, so I'll have enough rest, have enough sleep, and in the morning I'll feel energetic.
I tell him to sit down, do his work. If a pencil break, just leave it, continue, and just don't do nothing or talking.
So how was he this morning? I don't know if he lives with you.
No, he don't live with me, but I went collect him this morning. He was working in good spirit. So I just hope he keep it up.
I'm feeling okay, not nervous. Just that she put her best foot to it, and what she do, I'm going to be satisfied.
I think that I'm going to do my best in all of my tests. It's going to be okay.
But I'm excited to get accustomed to it. I have kids that are common entrance already, and I'm ready from. So my daughter to go and do her best, and whatever school she passes for, I'll be satisfied.
The exam is scheduled to end early this afternoon, and afterward, the students who have been preparing for months will follow tradition and go out to celebrate reaching the milestone. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union says it will continue to defend its members in the face of criticism from the media and government officials. The first Vice President of the BSTU, Erskine Padmore, told yesterday's May Day rally that the Ministry of Education has an obligation to protect its teachers. His statement was an apparent reference to a former teacher who was attacked by a student recently. He also spoke to the ongoing impasse over the marking of CXC school-based assessments.
The BSTU remains relentless in its pursuit towards schools or place of work of violence and threats of violence, especially committed against teachers. And we will continue to do so even if the public, the press, or the politicians do not rush to our defense. When violence is meted out to the teacher, or the student for that matter, the relationship is fractured, and it then becomes awkward for the factions to share a similar space. We maintain and remind, however, that the provision of a safe and healthy workplace is the duty of the employer, and therefore, the Ministry of Education has a responsibility to teachers too as workers. A responsibility to provide a safe working environment in which we can perform our duties free from threats to our persons. In this sector, we also feel a sense of exploitation of the teacher as a worker. When we are told that the work of a regional organization, packaged as a school-based exercise, is part of the duty and responsibility of the teacher. Essentially, we are being mortgaged out to third party, affecting our terms and conditions of service.
Meanwhile, President of the National Council of Parent Teachers Associations, Sean Gibbs, is calling on the Barbados Union of Teachers to rethink its planned withdrawal from the classrooms tomorrow. The BUT has given the assurance that its members will not disrupt today's 11+ exams by staying away, but it says it will call out its members to a meeting tomorrow to discuss the impasse with Education Minister Ronald Jones. But Gibbs says there is still room for both sides to resolve their differences.
I would want to suggest that persons desist from any attempts to disrupt the school system at this time. I believe that we can come up with resolutions, because at the end of the day, we still have to sit and talk to come up with solutions to the problems. And we need to get to the table as soon as possible.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Your first friend, your first love, your first teacher. Show your appreciation for the first lady in your life. Send a photo of you and your mother to We Love You Mom at barbadostoday.bb to be featured in our special Mother's Day photo album and for a chance to win some exciting prizes.
To Mom with love.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In news from the region, St. Lucia has emerged as the top country for press freedom in the Americas. That's according to a survey conducted by the U.S.-based independent watchdog organization Freedom House. Freedom House says it assesses media freedom using common criteria for all settings in poor and rich countries, as well as in those of varying ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds. It says all states, from the most democratic to the most authoritarian, are committed to Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression, and this right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers. Venezuela's opposition says it has delivered 1.8 million signatures to the country's elections authority as part of the process seeking a recall referendum against President Nicolas Maduro. Shortages of food and medicine, triple-digit inflation, rampant violent crime, and frequent water and power cuts have sparked a wave of anger against Maduro. The Democratic Unity Coalition gathered more than the required 1% of voters' signatures needed to proceed to the next phase of the recall referendum. The electoral body must now validate the signatures before the opposition can collect around 4 million more signatures for a vote to be held. Maduro maintains he will not be forced out before his term expires in 2019. Russia's foreign minister says a unilateral truce declared by the Syrian military could be extended to the city of Aleppo within the next few hours. Sergei Lavrov says Russia is working with the UN and the United States to include Aleppo in the ceasefire that has been in place since Saturday. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is accusing the Syrian government of blatantly violating the 9-week truce. About 250 people have reportedly been killed in Aleppo in the past 9 days.
It is imperative that the full measure of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2254, which not only calls on the parties to have a cessation of hostilities, a countrywide ceasefire, but it is imperative that the humanitarian access that was promised in that resolution is delivered. And the regime, unfortunately, is still preventing access to certain communities. So that has to be part of our ability to be able to get back to political talks.
And finally, there are reports that the European Commission will grant Turkey conditional approval for visa-free travel within the EU's Schengen area. The move is part of a deal in which Turkey has agreed to take back migrants who have crossed to Greece. We get more in this BBC report.
Turkey's long wait for Europe. This is the ritual for Turks to travel to the EU. Incessant queues, visa applications sometimes rejected. But could it finally end? Brussels is likely to recommend that Turkey should now get visa-free travel to the EU Schengen zone with the recent migration deal. It's a longed-for aim.
So insulting, so irrational, unacceptable for human dignity and for the basic rights of free travel.
This is the trade. Turkey accepting migrants deported from Greece and clamping down on smugglers. In return, Ankara gets money, progress on EU accession, and the visa deal.
And that's the news. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you could tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Mary Claire Williams. Good afternoon.